Good morning, Nigeria. Good morning, world. You're welcome to Morning Spring today on Western Spring Television. It's a happy day. Quite a drizzly morning around here, but we thank God for life. Quite a serene and clement weather we have, signaling that today will be smooth, hopefully, by God's grace. Femi Ojo is my name, and I welcome you, and welcome Daniel as well. Good morning.
Yeah, good morning.
Yeah. How do you do?
Oh, great.
Yeah.
Beautiful Monday. Oh, Wednesday morning.
It's Wednesday.
Today is Wednesday. Beautiful Wednesday morning. Wherever the Monday came from, I have no idea. It's the midweek edition of Morning Spring on Western Spring Television. Welcome once again to all our esteemed viewers all over the world. Thank you for joining us once again. Emeka Daniel is my name. And you know how we do it here on Morning Spring. I will bring you the best news. We go into the newspaper review, then the analysis, and of course, we dive into powerful conversations that shape our nation. And that's what exactly we will be doing here again today. So thank you once again for joining us on Morning Spring on WSTV, StarTimes Channel 190 DTT. It promises to be a great day, just like Femi said, absolutely.
Exactly. And we have a lot to talk about. There will always be things to talk about. Very important thing, especially in governance, and which should be the main thing, not really the politics, but here the politics is this way, and then the governance is always this way, or even going lower. But in Osun State, you know, as far as governance is concerned, and power, definitely the party politics is the go-to thing, because we don't have independent candidacy yet, and of course the gubernatorial election in Osun State is next year, 2026. An aspirant, I imagine already, especially in the APC. And yesterday, the AMBO is, I think, the slogan for that particular aspirant, Bola Murudin Oyebamiji, is AMBO, and he formally declared his intention to run for the governorship election come 2026 on that platform. The APC yesterday. So,
and of course, several other people too will show their interest still in the APC. We're going to have a lot of people, so they have to slug it out at the primaries to see who finally emerges as their candidates. And again, interesting, of course, we have the PDP. It's a no-brainer. The incumbent governor would be...
I think it's the sole contender.
It should be the sole contender. Then another one...
No, should be. It shouldn't be.
No, I mean, the way it is, I mean, judging by, you know...
Incumbency doesn't mean you must remain there.
Yeah, but judging by, you know, the kind of support he's getting from his followers and all that, so that's why he said, although it shouldn't be, you rightly said that, it shouldn't be.
Everybody should have a right.
It should be well contested,
Yeah, and if actually he's going to be the sole candidate, then there should be concession, there should be consolidation, there should be conversation around it. Not that everybody don't dare. Yeah, not in the way you tell people that they should not dare to even dream it.
Like they will say, there's no vacancy in Atarok.
I tell you, no vacancy at any government house. That's the way it is. But then, that's the way of the APC.
Yeah. And another one, actually, interestingly, is that of the Omoluabi Progressives. You know, we had a conversation here. Up to now, we have no idea what's happening, whether they're going to form a political party, whether they will join a coalition and all that. But they have said they are standing alone. So let's see how that plays out. Maybe we might just see a new political party, because that's most likely what happens. If they are not going to merge with another party or support another party, then maybe they are trying to form a political party.
I guess not. That anybody that is serious for next election will want to fly a new political party
at this time.
No, it can't be. Possibly just come out under the existing.
You know, we kept asking that question, and he said they will make it.
Maybe they don't have a position yet on whose platform they are coming on. But he said, the spokesperson to former Governor Aregbesola, that's Mr. Shola Fashure, said definitely they are not just going to back anybody. They will have their own candidate as well, and so we wish them all the best. That's the way it is, and of course, it's still hotting up right here in Abuja, where the president has been magnanimous enough to save the PDP secretariat and other parties.
Absolutely. It's not easy for a president to save, an opposition party's
property and give them, 14 days to do the needful. That's the narrative they've been bandied around. But it's not just about the PDP. It's about those properties that have been sued up. But then, We have a long way to go. A former governor of Jigawa State, Sule Lamido, has been spoken, and he said, if PDP crumbles, then that means democracy crumbles. Well, we'll look into that in the course of the program. But right now, the papers are in. Stay with us. All right. Yeah.
Thank you for staying with us. We go straight to the newspapers this morning, and we start from the front page of the Vanguard newspaper.
Okay.
All right. The headline on the Vanguard newspaper this morning: debt heads for 180 trillion naira as Tinubu seeks fresh 34.15 trillion loans. Debt heads for 180 trillion naira as Tinubu seeks fresh 34.15 trillion naira loans. Quite interested with the rider. FG's debt service to revenue deteriorates to 1.31%. Experts urge caution on further borrowing. Quite interesting. Just yesterday at the plenary session, 3 separate letters were read out. Letters from the presidency requesting approval to borrow some more. And some experts have been raising concern that our debt profile is rising by the day. Although he gave, detailed explanation of what the money should be used for and all that. Definitely, the president couldn't have done that alone without people like Wale Edu and, of course, Olayemi Cardoso, that's the Minister of Finance and Coordinating Minister of the Economy, and, of course, the CBN Governor. But again, experts are saying this is putting Nigeria once again in a precarious situation. And that will be all from the front page of the Vanguard newspaper this morning.
All right, from the Vanguard, let's look at the Nation newspaper. The Nation for today: PDP, APC clash over one-party claim. Again, PDP, APC clash over one-party claim. Opposition attacks ruling party over economy and insecurity. Opposition attacks ruling party over economy and insecurity. All right, and top strip. JAMB, WAEC go tough on exam malpractices. JAMB, WAEC go tough on exam malpractices. That is, the examination conducting bodies in Nigeria and also in West Africa. You have the picture of, the embattled Professor Ishaq Oloyede there. That's the registrar of JAMB. Away from that, Tinubu seeks lawmakers nod to borrow 757 billion naira, $23 billion. Others. Tinubu seeks lawmakers nod to borrow 757 billion naira, $23 billion. Others. And rumpus over third-term bid by Lagos Council Chair. Rumpus over third-term bid by Lagos Council Chair. Page 28 of the Nation hashtag. And democracy at 26, still much to do. Democracy at 26, still much to do. Tomorrow is May 29, and it will be at the Democracy Day again in Nigeria. It has been shifted, that's Democracy Day is June 12th, actually. But the day that the administration of President Tinubu will be tomorrow. So in 2 years, what is the scorecard? And democracy at 26 as well. By June 12th, it will be, 1993 to 2025 now. That's quite some years. And so many persons will say, how far have we gone? Are we faring well? The democracy in which we practiced in 1993, in which a Muslim ticket didn't count, in which it was, dubbed the fairest and the fairest, freest rather, and the fairest in Nigeria's history till date. Is it possible we will get to that level in which people's tongues and tribes will not matter, in which people will be energized to come out instead of being coerced and forced through the legislation.
Absolutely. And talking about Nigeria's democracy, I mean, going to be 26 tomorrow. Another area we should look at is also the National Assembly. I was going through a document from a write-up from Dakuku Peter side, who was quite concerned about the effectiveness, the efficiency of our National Assembly, the quality of the legislature in Nigeria. And it's quite worrisome. You know, in places like the US, you know, they have different indices, I mean, to monitor and judge the National Assembly, the quality of the bills they put forward, I mean, the votes, whether they are fair enough and all that. But here in Nigeria, it seems as though we have a National Assembly, and the question is, are they actually gatekeepers or they've just become spectators? I mean, just watching like other Nigerians. Because without a solid National Assembly, we can't be, you know, putting forward, you know, innovative laws. I mean, checking, serving as checks and balances, giving checks and balances to the executive arm of government. Without a solid National Assembly, we can't really move forward as a people. So it's a crucial organization. We should really look into it. It shouldn't just be business as usual. They shouldn't just go there to have fun. I mean, so quite a lot of things.
An extension of the executive. Actually, with the way we have seen.
So the quality is quite sincerely, the bottom line is that the quality of the 10th National Assembly has been very low. I mean, has been very poor according to different indices.
Democracy at 26, still much to do. That will be all. But before that, Rumpus over third term bid by Lagos can suggest so much is happening. Why will you want to be re-elected for the third term? Or if actually they are seeking legislative review, you know, as far as Lagos State is concerned, and how many times a local government chairman can always contest and come back. That will be all from The Nation.
And from The Nation newspaper, we go straight to the front page of the Nigerian Tribune newspaper this morning. Tinubu writes National Assembly seeks $21.5 billion external loan. 758 billion naira pension bond. Tinubu writes National Assembly seeks $21.5 billion external loan, 758 billion naira pension bond. Still talking about the request for approval for fresh loans by the president to the National Assembly. Of course, the National Assembly has referred those letters to the Finance Committee for further legislative action. Again, let us see what will come out of this, what exactly the National Assembly, how they would justify this again. Away from that, moving on to other stories, still on the front page of the Nigerian Tribune this morning. FG directs 3-year ban on students caught in exam malpractices. Federal government directs 3-year ban on students caught in exam malpractices with a rider. JAMB, WAEC, NECO to ban centers involved in exam fraud. If the federal government is proposing 3-year ban on students caught in exam malpractices, what should be the penalty for politicians and public office holders caught in corruption, in the act of corruption?
Exactly.
That's what they're talking about, because it should be wholesome. This is society. Well, I'm not supporting examination malpractice. I've always been against it. I believe students should be able to study and show themselves approved and pass the examinations. But again, if you're going to, slam a 3-year ban on them, how about politicians, okay, who are caught in the act of corruption and they still go ahead they still retain their offices, I mean, as public office holders? Anyway, I'll leave you to answer that. Away from that, moving on to other stories. INEC still recognizes PDP National Secretary. INEC still recognizes PDP, and still recognizes Anyanwu as PDP National Secretary. That's according to reports. INEC still recognizes Senator Samuel Anyanwu as PDP National Secretary. With the rider, committee urges PDP to follow due process on Southeast replacement demand. You find that story on page 21 of the Nigerian Tribune newspaper. Apparently, INEC still recognizes Senator Samuel Anyanwu as a PDP National Secretary up till this point. Until that changes, he remains the authentic PDP National Secretary. Away from that, ex-PDP chairman's son, accomplice, jailed 14 years for 2.2 billion naira subsidy scam. Ex-PDP chairman's son, accomplice, jailed 14 years for $2.2 billion naira subsidy scam. You find that story on page 3. Below that, one dies, many trapped in Ikorodu building collapse. One dies, many trapped in Ikorodu building collapse. You find a story on page 21, quite an unfortunate one right there. And just below that, Muslims to observe Eid al-Kabir Friday, June 6. Muslims to observe Eid al-Kabir Friday, June 6. You find that story on page 16. Femi, is this the one where they slaughter rams? They get to slaughter rams?
I wonder what you want my answer to be.
I want to know so I can start making plans. I'm quite interested in the meat.
I think it should be. Because the last one, we were told it was the small one. And there can only be 2 salah. Okay. So we've had one. So the likes of some of our guys, Rahman, Lukman, and the rest of them, should be ready now. There's no hiding place.
Absolutely. I mean, things are really expensive now. The other day I was seeing a video of rams, 3.5 million naira, and the guy was saying it confidently hitting them and saying, "No, rams." I was amazed. Rams going for
what kind of ram?
I mean, white, healthy rams. I mean, but they're just rams again. What? Yes.
LD.
They're healthy, exactly. Good-looking rams. But again, a ram is still a ram. Going for 3.5 million naira in Nigeria. And I'm wondering, how can... And at the end of the video, it was like saying, well, this one is not for civil servants. Because how on earth can...
Well, someone like you should not be bothered.
Why? Number one, I'm not a Muslim. Number two, I don't... Exactly. But again...
Number one is the most important thing.
I pray that God should provide for them. So I want as much as, as many as possible. I mean, let them buy the rams, let them slaughter so the meat can go around. That's my own concern.
Bismillah.
Okay. And away from that's on the front page of the Nigerian Tribune this morning. 1.2 million Nigerians displaced by floods in 2024. 1.2 million Nigerians displaced by floods in 2024. And that's according to the National Emergency Management Agency, NEMA. You'll find that story on page 10. And right there, at the middle of the page, you can see pictures of wives of top politicians. I can see the wife of the vice president, wife of the Senate president, wife of the House of Reps speaker, right there at the Children's Day celebration yesterday. Away from that, APC plotting one-party rule out of fear of 2027 defeat. APC plotting one-party rule out of fear of 2027 defeat, and that's according to PDP NEC. We have some writers here. We will never succumb to intimidation, exclusion that's coming from governors. NEC to discuss National Secretary position June 30. Next to discuss National Secretary position June 30. And just below that, I won't attend PDP meetings until Wike autumn. Others are expelled. That's coming from Lamido. That's Sule Lamido right there, former Jigawa State Governor, saying, I won't attend PDP meetings until Wike autumn. Others are expelled. He may have to stay away from the meetings for quite a while, because I do not think it will be so easy to expel all these people at once in one fell swoop. So he might have to skip a couple of meetings right there. And just below that, and finally from the front page of the Nigerian Tribune this morning, at the bottom strip, troops foil ISWAP attack in Marte, kill scores, recover explosives. Troops foil ISWAP attack in Marte, kill scores, recover explosives. You find a story on page 13. This is quite a good indicator. We've been reporting how bandits and terrorists have been ravaging Borno State, especially Marte local government, where, a lot of villages have been overrun, taken over by troops. And now we have this, that troops have actually foiled another attack.
That's a good one.
That's a good one. That's a step in the right direction.
We lost 2 officers.
Oh.
That's in,
the operation.
The operation, and it's quite unfortunate. 2 gallant officers were lost on the Nigerian side. They have paid the supreme price. Very terrible to know, but scores of these criminals. Now, I think, and that's a good one for the Nigerian army, the Nigerian military, because it's not just about bashing them every time. They have foiled it. And possibly there are 1 or 2 other operations like that have gone underneath that we will never know, But then one thing that I want them to do more is to take the battle to this criminal. We should not just wait, to repel attacks. We should wait. I mean, we should carry the battle to them. Let them be off our land.
We should be proactive.
It's a no-no. Absolutely. We don't want them. They should say nothing, I think. But then kudos to the Nigerian military.
Absolutely. At least there's a breath of fresh air coming the way of Marte for once. And that's a good one. Once again, kudos to the Nigerian military for that success in that operation. And that'll be all from the front page of the Nigerian Tribune newspaper this morning.
Yeah. And I think these... Do we still have one more?
I'm afraid that most of them are full of just the Guardian, which is still the same thing.
All right.
Fresh loans. I mean, talking about the fresh loans.
So much loans, actually. Absolutely. That's worth talking about because, somebody said we repaid, was it a week ago, one loan that we collected during COVID.
The IMF loan?
The IMF loan. We repaid that only to be borrowing another one in the following week. And that is that the best that we can do? Every country of the nation borrows. Even the US possibly has the highest level of loans in the world. But the thing is, the GDP ratio, debt to GDP ratio, you look at that. Number 2, can they afford it? And what are they borrowing on? That's the thing.
That's the point. What exactly are we doing with the funds we are borrowing? Funds.
Although this particular one has been highlighted, but then it's not just about the highlighting. It's the scrutiny. When these things are brought, scrutinize it. Actually, it's not just we need 2 billion. Oh, what's it meant for this road, for that road? Oh, is that it? Guys, if you are in support, say aye. If you don't support, say nay. And then the nay is, in fact, there is no nay. I've not been saying any nay.
Again, the point is, how will the National Assembly scrutinize properly when they are compromised? That's a question. When they are not being detailed enough. Just imagine the 2024 budget, about 6.9 trillion naira was smuggled into the budget. So are they still the ones to scrutinize? That's a problem. So we have a systemic problem with the National Assembly when we have that amount of, about 6.9 trillion naira, over about 11,127 new items sneaked into the budget. So what do you expect them to do when they see loans like this? But again, we should be careful because our debt profile is rising, now stands at over 180 trillion naira.
Well, and some of those, debt or loans that we are looking for will be managed by the Debt Management Office, the DMO, and every time they come out to say our threshold can still afford some of these things. But then we don't have to be neck deep in that. And then we are being harassed by the lenders and some of these people, the IMF, the World Bank, and some of those conditions that we agree to. We are not privy to that. But then when it looks like these Bretton Woods institutions are the one, telling us what to do, telling us what not to do, even when they are denying, we must do well as a nation. We take this quick break. When we return, we speak to the Aegis. And we are live on our YouTube channel at Western Spring TV. Stay with us.